All right, so this episode we're going to talk about our love for our cities. I want to ask you, how would you like to impact the city you're from?
Man, I really want to find a way to definitely give back in a way. I think we've talked about this before, creating like an after school. A lot of people do this, and there's already programs like this in St. Louis, but creating an after school program for kids in general. Doesn't matter if they're in the suburbs, doesn't matter if they're in the hood, just create an after school program where basically kids can learn about how life really is, the
Right.
stuff that school doesn't teach you.
Right.
I've realized that even I went to, I was part of one of the best public schools
Okay.
in the state,
Yeah.
and especially in the city. And I can tell you that they don't properly get you ready for life unless you have a real teacher who will
Right.
tell you how life really is.
Right.
But those are so few and far between. But I would want to create an after school program that, for one, continues the education, not just academically, but socially and in life in general, in both the suburbs and in lower income neighborhoods like the hood.
Okay.
And find a way to impact that way and just change lives and just try to teach kids, especially high school.
Right.
Because I don't know if you felt this way, but when I was in high school went by fast.
Right.
College went by faster.
Right.
So it's all a blur. From age 14 to age 23, I remember a lot of stuff,
Right.
but I still remember being 14, and I remember being 23 when I graduated from college. And I remember each and every age being 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, up into 23. And it's crazy how it just flew by.
Right.
You know what I mean? So basically, I would want to teach a kid how life really operates after you graduate, even from high school. I mean, and if you go to college, even after college, how life gets real. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's things that school doesn't teach you, like financial literacy. We always talk about that. Shout out to Robert Kiyosaki. They don't teach you about paying your bills. They don't teach you about how to sign a check. A lot of people don't know how to sign a check.
Yeah.
They don't know how to fill out a check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All that stuff is important. Luckily, I learned that when I was in like 5th grade.
To sign a check?
Yes,
That's good.
fill it out, sign it,
Right.
everything. But they're getting rid of that. Personal finance, I remember taking that when I was a junior in high school,
Right.
or I might have been a senior in I can't remember seeing now. That's how you know you're getting old.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but personal finance was a class that was only offered for a semester.
Right.
Personal finance should be something that's offered year round,
Right.
from 9th grade to 12th grade.
Yeah.
So that's something I would love to teach kids as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also career paths. I feel like a lot of people don't really know what they want to do, especially in high school. You know what I mean? Setting up better mentorships. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I was lucky enough that I was able to intern for a day. I was able to study under one of the best prosecuting attorneys in St. Louis at the Eagles Inn Courthouse.
Oh, wow.
That's when I really started to realize I didn't want to be a lawyer, but I still went to school anyway to be a lawyer. But just setting up more opportunities like that
Yeah.
across all, especially in St. Louis, across all of the city, and just impacting the youth in a positive way. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But I know I'm kind of sporadic and all over the place. I'm still figuring that out, but that's where I would like to start. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, financial education, man. If anyone wants to go back to their city and implement that, hats off to you. That's what it all comes down to, right? The managing of resources out here, that's going to be the most important thing. Producing, or I guess owning more than you're consuming, that's going to take you farther than even me, in most cases, even me showing someone how to operate a camera, someone trying to move through a scene. Teaching financial education, to me, is superior than all of that. All that other stuff is secondary. Because they're going to come out to this film industry and still realize that it relies on finances.
Yeah.
And so teaching people finances is the backbone to all of this. Maybe even teach them sales.
I like that a lot, actually. That's actually a really good one. Teach them sales.
Teach them sales.
This is what this industry is. When you're in the filmmaking world and the acting world, they always say you're playing a rich man's game. It takes money to make a lot of things happen in this industry.
Yeah.
And either you're gonna have to finance it yourself, or you have to get someone to finance it for you. And that's why learning about finance and learning about sales
Right.
is very, very integral in our industry. And if we're just being we talk about this 1,000 times. The one thing that transcends all professions is sales.
It's sales, right?
The one thing that everyone's afraid of and doesn't like to do.
I think people need to understand when you're selling, the biggest goal is obviously your goal is to make revenue, get your hand on the money immediately, but or as soon as possible. But the biggest thing about the sales right after that is funneling it into something that makes you more revenue, and that's where people get this is misconstrued on. People like, well, especially in our communities. Remember back in the day, kids would sell Jordans or kids would sell shoes. And you'll sell these shoes, you sell these things, but that money will go for you buying a PS3 or what I'm saying, or PS2.
Yeah.
And it's like you did everything up in the process, but you just completely disregarded everything at this point. You completely just threw it all away at that point. So it's like me shooting, me getting a triple double and still losing by 2. It's like yeah,
or you scoring 40 points with no assist.
Yeah, he's scoring 40 points, no assists, but you guys still lose the game.
Yeah,
like,
shout out to Kyrie.
Yeah, it's like that was cool and all, but this is game 7, and y'all lost. So if you guys want to win the game, it really comes down to keeping the money, holding on to the money, and make the money work for you. Because wealth is not based off of being rich; it's based off of a number you have, but wealth is based off how much time you have to put it towards the things you want to. So anyone who has anything against money, just know you're just trying to buy your time back.
Yeah.
We're trying to buy our time back. We can't live here in this world without allocating our time to something. Like for us, we have to go into like a day job because we don't own our time. But the more educated you become and the more proactive you become, you can own your time back. Let's revert back to the topic of this episode. Of course, financial education, what we would like to go back and do.
Yep, and teaching selling as well.
Selling.
Good shout out. What about you? What would you do for your city?
The thing I would do for my city is still something that I'm trying to answer. I don't have a concrete answer yet. I know I want to build a studio, whether it's with my name or whether it's with whatever name. I don't mind. I'd like to build a studio out there. Even though it's not a film hub, we do have a lot of films there, and they shoot a lot of romantic comedies and stuff like that in Kansas City. Reason being is Kansas City is where Hallmark is from, and that's where Hallmark started. Yes, Hallmark's.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so and Kansas City's layout is Spanish inspired, so it's Spanish and Spaniards. They say it's a sister city of. I got to look into either Valencia or it's not Barcelona, but a city in Spain is a sister city to Kansas City.
Real Madrid?
Possibly. I have to look into exactly what city it is. I don't want to give that information out wrong on this.
For sure.
But if you look at the Kansas City Plaza, you look at all that kind of stuff, we were there, and my partner at the time was looking around and just like, why is all this Spain? You guys even have the Spanish flag there. Like it's like in Spaniards, we have a Spanish flag there.
Yeah.
In the middle, and I didn't even notice that. I grew up there and didn't even think about it. But we're also the city of fountains, and so it's just very architecture alone is very pleasing once you're in the plaza in Kansas City and once you're maneuvering around there. So it definitely would be a good place to make into a good place to build a studio at for films and things like that, because there's a lot of scenic things there.
For sure. I think I've said this before. The Midwest in general is very underrated when it comes to scenic things. We always talk about the West. We always talk about the East.
Yeah.
Even certain parts of the South. But I feel like the Midwest is very, very underrated when it comes to this scenery and just we don't have mountains in the background and stuff like that, but we do have some pretty beautiful outdoors, wilderness scenery that is just breathtaking, and it's very underrated.
It's true. I laugh at that because I worked with Keegan Michael Key from we worked on a different project. It was most fun you can have with another actor, right? It was this we're doing this football scene. He was my quarterback, and he was doing all sorts of stuff. He was joking around, and he threw the ball to me or whatever, and then I threw the ball to him, and he's just the coolest dude. And he started making a joke during one of the takes. He's like, guys, you know how many times Hollywood has filmed on this exact high school football field? and how many times are the same mountains back there, and how many times we labeled this a different city. It's like the Ohio Bears or whatever, like that.
Not the Ohio Bears.
Yeah, the Ohio Bears.
Ohio ain't got scenery like that.
Yeah, exactly. Or they call it like the whatever, like the Pennsylvania Pirates and things like that. They have all these different names. He's trolling it during like the middle of a take, just saying like how many times we've used this exact same location and named it 10 different schools, named it 10 different cities, named it 10 different whatevers. He's like this. He's like LA. It's probably over 1,000, maybe 3,000 projects currently in rotation, just with this field alone, and us playing ball here, and so
that's hilarious. I think that's why Atlanta was such a fresh breath of air.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Breath of fresh air, absolutely.
Different location, different area, still very talented people, but also just different scenery. You know what I mean?
It's becoming less expensive to move people around. That's what I love about film most, the refreshing take on it.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get into these shows in Spanish, like a show called Elite and a show called this is called La Papel de Casa, or La Casa de Papel, but the name of it's Money Heist in English. And I'm trying to watch these shows, but I'm not much of a TV watcher, movie watcher in general, so I just don't watch them. But it is interesting to me to see like the different sceneries they have in their countries. I'm like, dang, man. Or even Parasite. You know what I mean? Like you could tell that you're in a different, when it comes to South Korea, you can tell that you're in a different,
way different.
You're in a different city, and that's refreshing.
It is very refreshing. How I didn't realize how compact
South
and how
Korea
on top of each other people are there, and
know
how rain can really affect your living situation because flooding is a real issue there. Because I think that happened during the movie when their apartment underground got flooded. So it was just like, holy cow, this is like I didn't know South Korea was like this. I always thought South Korea was very spacious. You know what I mean? I just had a different idea of what South Korea was.
That's why I love our episode so much about the globalization of entertainment, globalization of film, because it literally is everywhere now. And so, because of that, I like to build a home back in Kansas City and also have a film hub there. I'll try to get our guy that we don't know personally, but I'll try to get Brad Pitt involved somehow because he lives out there, because he's out in Springfield.
Yeah.
I would like to get Don Cheadle involved because he's from Kansas City. Samuel Jackson also lived in Kansas City. We got Paul Rudd. We have Jason Sudeikis.
Is Paul Rudd from there, or did he just go to school out there?
Paul